Next, we have panel discussion with list of Nepali founders who built company in Nordics and the United States. The panelists will share their story, the founder's story, the obstacles they had to face, and how they fought against it. So we have Bijay Baniya, the founder of SisuCare, Prakash Pant, founder and partner Nordes, Barun Bashyal, founder of Resimator, and the panel discussion will be moderated by Bijay Gurung, founder BGPLAY Capital.
Hi, so my name is Bijay Gurung. So I'm probably the oldest member who immigrated to Finland. That was 25 years ago. Okay. So before starting, actually, I want to point out one thing. I think all the commonality between all of us, especially all the Nepalese, we started from 3-1 International Airport, right? We all stepped into it, and then we came to Finland, right? And actually, there are a couple of things as well. And in my days, we go to Mahabodh and then buy the Chinese suitcase. And just before flying up, आमाले के भन्थ्यो भने जति त अब चाउचाउ पनि हाल्दै बाटोमा खानुहुन्छ भनेर I think some of you can relate to that, right? So anyway, so I want to get started with these three gentlemen. I mean, you heard them. They started a fantastic company, and they are scaling in their own ways. So it's a privilege to really hear their story. And actually, thanks to Vikas and the team behind it for organizing such an inaugural event. So this is really great. In my 25 years in Finland, I've never had the opportunity to listen to so many great entrepreneurs. So to start, so can we just start from the very beginning? We will come to your companies, how you started your companies, all the challenges. But I want to start with your beginning, like from the moment when we set up from Nepal. Where did you go? Where did you study? What were your first challenges as an individual in Finland? Bijay, can we start with you?
So I moved to Finland in 2004 to study, and it was the fall, and most of you, remember back in the days there were just one intake in the fall. And when I moved here, I really loved the longer days, the sunlight, until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then I was in Varkaus back then when I moved. And Varkaus, those Finns might know, it's not one of the most affluent cities in Finland already back then. And, it was getting darker. And as most of you that are here, it was getting darker, both mentally, financially, as you know, a lot of loan and everything, and so I had to do something about that. So I tried to get a part-time job and things like that, and I did all my 1 year of studies in 4 months, and I moved to Helsinki to survive. So just wanted to open with that. If you learn.
Yeah, I have similar stories like everybody. So I moved here. Is it working? Okay. I moved here in 2006 to study IT in Turku University of Applied Sciences. So I took the cheapest plane ticket possible that time. So I flew through Moscow. So first to Delhi, and then from Delhi to Moscow, and then to Helsinki. And so there was some kind of learning already on that route. So when you land to Moscow, nobody speaks English there, and then I was struggling where to find the how to get to the plane that flies to Helsinki, and then asking around people in English, and nobody speaking English there. So that was already a shock. The first shock was in Moscow, and then after landing in Helsinki and then coming to Turku, first thing was, okay, where are the people? So you see so less people on the street, and and I was I knew that the language is different, but I wasn't sure like why so little people want to do not want to speak English, and or mostly communicated only in Finnish, or very less people wanted to speak English. So that was another challenge, and of course, the weather and everything was the other ones. But because I think I moved here very early in my life, I was around late or early 20s. So I kind of went into different parties and went to the orientation programs, made some friends. So for me, I wouldn't say I had a lot of culture shock as such, but yeah, I think moving here and then having those challenges with financial challenges and all those, obviously that's kind of similar to every Nepalese story, I think.
Prakash. Hello.
I moved to Finland back in 2010. So I moved here right after my plus two. So I completed my plus two and I wanted to do mechanical engineering. And and we all know that we don't have enough universities in Nepal to do mechanical engineering. There's very limited seat. Either you need to get admitted to Pulchuk, or then there are few seats in Kathmandu University. So basically, I was looking for opportunity outside Nepal where I could study mechanical engineering. And then when I came to know that study in Finland is free of cost, so that was the first thing that attracted me towards applying to Finland. So when I came to Finland, that was the first time I was out by myself without my family. So I was a bit scared, like how is it going to be being with guys who I don't know at all, like even the Nepalese friends whom I'm going to meet in Finland. I didn't know any one of them. But luckily, like right from the day when I stepped out of the train in Lappeenranta, I met bunch of senior Nepali brothers who welcomed us very warmly. Like right from the first day, they were like, "Okay, you don't need to worry. We will introduce you to the places where you can find works." Even I had not even applied for housing. I didn't know where I was going to stay. So they kept me in their apartment like for a week, and they applied for a new housing for me, for us, actually our group, and they helped us to settle down, introduced to the university lectures, even the courses that we are taking. It was so different than what we studied in back in our home country. The design courses, the sensor courses. I mean, I had not even heard those words, and I was studying them at the university. So it was really difficult. But it was our senior brothers who helped us get used to of the study and the life in Finland. And the darkness or the snow never really bothered me because the community in Lappeenranta, the Nepalese community, they were so welcoming that every weekend, be it festivals, there was always something. So even in the weekend, if there is nothing, we would get together and watch some movies together. We were being invited by our seniors for a dinner. So even I was in Finland, the whole environment still felt like I was still in Nepal. So getting used to of living in Finland was not really a challenge for me because of the Nepalese communities that was in Lappeenranta. So I'm all really thankful to my seniors for giving us that environment in Finland.
Great. So jumping onto your entrepreneur journey, Barun, can we start with you? Like, what instigated you to start your own company? Like in Nepal, when you finish your studies, we go and work 9 to 5. पैसा कमाउनु पर्छ हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो. So it's not like in Nepal we're not really pushed for becoming an entrepreneur. घाटा लाग्ने कुरा हुन्छ नि. So first of all, at what stage did you start? Did you start when you were still a student, or you started immediately? What instigated you? Can we do a little bit quickly because we're short of time? Thank you.
After I was actually about to finish my studies here. That was around 2010, and one opportunity came, and we had a group of friends who wanted to start a restaurant, and then I kind of jumped in. So first, my entrepreneurial journey started with starting a restaurant. That was in 2011. That failed miserably and put me in a big financial risk. But and
After that, I think I got to meet the Finnish startup ecosystem players, and also a lot of decision makers, and the startup scene. I got to understand the startup scene during that process, and that kind of pushed me forward. So obviously, failing in restaurant was a setback, but it wasn't the end. It was actually an inspiring, stepping forward for me. And so after that, I met a friend of mine who had similar idea on building a startup. Thaman, who is also here. So we participated in a Boost startup journey. I think that was in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, and that also helped us to get to more ecosystem players, startup ecosystem players, and decision makers in Finland. So then I realized that it is possible, even as being foreigner, to dream to be an entrepreneur is possible here in Finland. And so yeah, this is basically the step for me, like getting into the entrepreneurship side. Obviously, one thing is important, that you need to have that persistence and passion to really build something. And it might not be for yourself, but it might be like you're looking for something that you would like to be part of for long term, basically, right? So, and I think that had always driven me to look forward. And so I think I didn't have an idea like, okay, this is something that I want to change, or this is the problem I want to solve. So this thing just started building up for me. Yeah.
Bijay?
For me, growing up in Nepal, I come from an entrepreneur family. My father was an entrepreneur, my brothers, and so on. But moving to Finland, I wanted to do with something to do with science. I wanted to be a scientist, and then I started teaching. As I told you, when you are living abroad as a Nepali, you need to work part time. So I started teaching at the European School of Helsinki, and there was this one presentation from a gentleman from Norway, and they had created this learning management system called Frontier. I don't know if you guys have heard of that platform. And they tried to sell that platform to this school. This was a new school that was set up, and I was hired to help the leadership, with the math and science subjects and things like that. So this gentleman was presenting this platform, and I'm like, and I had this, I like software, I have loved software from the beginning. And then, I had a conversation with this guy, and he said that, I should move to Norway and work with him, and develop new ideas in learning. So my journey in entrepreneurship, so that was that moment in that presentation. I really decided that I wanted to devote my life to educational technologies. And I have taken many steps, like steps that might not make sense, but I knew what my goal would be. So I always use the term reverse engineering, where you see yourself right now. Right now I'm in 2026, and I always look into 2020, 2036 to 2046. I know what I would be contributing, not to myself. I would be looking at what I can contribute to the society, something that I could build, that not only myself but others, that are using this, they will be happy to use it, and that gives me satisfaction. So it's planning. So what I want to share in my entrepreneurial journey. Yes, I was in a family that with entrepreneurs, but it's always, maybe it's a serendipity that I ended up in Finland. And Finland, I think Finnish, as I've talked about the darkness, it doesn't grow much. You need to plant 6 months so that you get the food. So in a way, Finns are great planners, and of course, I got educated here, bachelor's, master's in Finland. So planning is very important. And the second thing I would like to stress, in my entrepreneurial journey, there is a writer, you might have heard, Jim Collins. So he uses the term ROL. And ROL, basically, everyone knows ROI, right? Return on investment, but he uses the term ROL. That means return on luck. And as a Nepali, I think this might connect with a lot of Nepalis here. So we get lucky in our lives, and I mean, being Nepali, as you know, in Nepal, back then at least, there were not a lot of opportunities. But right now, I feel this is the best time to go back to Nepali, the new government that has been formed, to contribute to our societies. So I feel this is again a pivotal moment. But ROL, I'm just gonna get that message across. So ROL, basically, we all get lucky, but it doesn't. Everyone gets lucky, but what you do after you get lucky, that's the most important thing, and that is what I believe in. Every action, like you might, meet someone here, and that spark moment, that defines where you are going to be seeing yourself, next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Just moving on to Prakash. So I mean, I had that ROL because when I was finishing my studies, like everybody, like you want to find a job. And I was really lucky 20 years ago, I was lucky to get a job, a very like a QA testing job in a mobile game company. And now it's been 20 years, I'm still in the same industry. I've worked across 4 continents for, several companies. And yeah, so that was a matter of luck. I mean, I was not a gamer. I didn't know how to play games. I didn't know nothing about games. Nepal, we didn't have any like, Commodore or PS2 or whatever it is, right? So it's a matter of luck, and you just have to be persistent, yeah. So Prakash, let's hear from you.
Regarding this entrepreneurship mindset, I think it didn't cross my mind maybe 10 years ago. Right after graduation, my focus was how do I get a full-time job. Even I was not looking for my professional jobs, like however I can get a full-time job so that I can have my permanent residence permit. So after getting some work, I managed to convert my TR into PR. Like I had a permanent residence. Then my focus was like, how do I get the professional job that what I studied? How do I get a job in that field? So I was preparing for that. And once I started my professional career, so I was working as a consultant. So what my company was doing was they were sending me sometime to a machine building industry, helping them with the design related responsibilities. Sometimes they were sending me to the shipbuilding industries, sometimes to the semiconductor industries. So working as a consultant, I got exposure to different industries. So it was not only like one specific industry. So I had opportunity to build connections. So now I knew people from logistic industries, semiconductor industries, shipbuilding industries, machinery industries. So after a few years, we were sitting together with some of my friends. They were also working as a consultant. So they had some connections, I had some connections, and anyway, we were working as a consultant. So why not have our own company and through our connection get some project to ourselves and work directly to the customers? Why do we need to go through this middleman or middle company? So that is when we decided, okay, this could be our time to start something of our own. So we formed our company, and then we reached out to our connections that we had built during our professional career, like working as a consultant. So it was not easy to convince them since we knew why would they trust us with their project. So it was not easy to convince them, but since we had worked for over combining our partners, we have worked for over 12 to 15 different customers. So we had that persistence. We kept on reaching out to them every now and then. Okay, do we have something now? So finally, a customer believed on us, and then we decided to, okay, now it's time for us to jump into our own company full time, and we left our work as a consultant. Then we started Nordes. So it happened. It was not like planning from years on. So while we were working our own job, so we were also working on our idea, and we were continuously contacting our connections. And once they trusted us with some project, and then we jumped into Nordes.
Okay, so obviously, like it's not a easy sale when you start a company, right? So what's sort of the biggest challenge you faced, especially in the beginnings, in access to capital, or access to clients, or hiring, or marketing? What's the biggest challenge for you guys? Let's start with Prakash.
Regarding the capital, it was not a big challenge for us because we were selling resources, and I was myself a resource. Our partner, they were also the resource. So there was no running cost for in order to be sustained as a company. Maybe we had to have one office, the rent, and a few like internet connections and those things. But there was no running cost. That is why in the beginning, even if we didn't had a lot of customers, it was easy for us to sustain. Because I was working for a customers, I was getting paid some salary, but part of it was being saved for the company. So at a time when there are no any customers work, uh, as a partner, I was not taking salary, or my partners they were taking. Okay, we don't have enough money in the company. Let's use this money in order to pay the rent, pay the phone bills, and so on. And we as a partner, since we don't have a customers, let's avoid taking salary. So those were some kind of some adjustment that we did as a partners, and it helped us to get across during our difficult times. But in the beginning, as I said, that our connections working as a consultant was in a good enough numbers that we could reach out and ask for some work. So that really helped us. So,
Bijay, what was the challenges in the beginning?
So in the beginning, of course, finding customers, and luckily in Finland, I had developed a decent network. I was able to get a few clients, but I realized very quickly, Finland is a closed system. If you really want to make it big, if you're ambitious, I mean, I would not recommend anyone to. It's a great testing ground. You can test your products in this market because it's a closed system. Like I said, you know someone that knows someone. You can test it, but if you want to dream big, this is not the place. And for me, it was clear. Like I told you guys, I had set goals, and for me, I wanted to make it big, and making it big. I've learned it the hard way. If you talk to the VCs here, I mean, when they look at you, the color of your skin. Unfortunately, I mean, Finns are here in the crowd, and I have done. I mean, 10 years, maybe things have become different, but 10 years ago, when I was trying it, very very hard actually, meeting all the VCs, trying to meet them. I mean, they would not even listen to me, like what I have here, No, I mean, it's unfortunate to me. I can use these words, white boys club. Unfortunately, Finland is, and slush club and white boys club. And many of you, I have talked to some of you, and you feel frustrated, and I'm with you. And that's where you need connections outside of Finland, and you have like, Mo VC and diaspora, all of these things going on, and you need to get out of here. You need to go to networking events. You need to reach out to people outside. I mean, think beyond Finland. So I faced a lot of challenges, unfortunately. And I do not want that on any of you. And I'm always, I mean, with Bijay and all of us here, that have, someone from Denmark, all of you guys should connect with them, because networks, that is what really matters. And Finland, unfortunately, I don't know when things will change, but it is a closed market, closed for opportunities, especially if you ask and go back for capital. I mean, they judge you. They judge you. Where do you come from? They don't look at the content of your mind, unfortunately. But there are systems out there where what you have inside up here, that really matters. You need to get out of here. And that doesn't mean you are leaving Finland. You can stay in Finland and you can still build companies. So I did not mean that leave Finland.
Barun?
Yeah, I think I started a bit differently. I started as a consultant, like Prakash, and so for me, I did everything bootstrap. I did cold calling in English here in Finland, and obviously that didn't work in the beginning. But I was smart enough to figure out that I need to target founders who has a Swedish surname and are young, so they are more likely to speak English. That I found out early enough. So actually, well, it took me 6 months to figure out that, and it was, I think, around mid 2015 when I set out to be full time entrepreneur. And by the time until February 2016, I had no customers, zero customer, and I almost ran out of my resources. Uh, that time I understood that, okay, this is the target customer. These are my target customers. So I started making cold calls by studying, what they have, and I managed to land like 5 customers, and things started moving on for me from that time. So yeah, I do agree with Bijay. Bijay Dai related to accessibility of funds for non-immigrant founders here in Finland, especially founders or immigrants who are coming from our part of the world. And for them, yes, there is a system here which looks at you differently, or which asks you to be more, some sort of verification. I don't know what kind of certificate you need to show them, but there is some sort of verification you need to apply, which is not the same for maybe the other founders here. But I think that was the case back in 2015 and 16. Things are changing in Finland, but I think it's a bit slow. We need to, in नेपालीमा भन्छौँ नि हामी छाती चौडा गर्नुपर्छ भनेर. It means like, have a big chest. I think Finnish society has to show a bit of bigger chest to be more integrable. If they want to see more founders, more immigrant founders to be successful here, they need to show a bigger chest.
But actually, I had a good chat with Prakash this morning, actually, because we were talking about this topic. Like, I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter to all the entrepreneurs or all the companies. Maybe it always also depends on the vision, the compatibility, your goals. But because Prakash has an example that he has a Finnish, co-founder. He's not in the same field, but he brings a lot of value for being in the company in terms of just like normal sort of operational level. Like, we don't know how to open a company, right? It's not in Finnish and Swedish, but in speaking it's difficult, right? And also it's access to capital, it's access to network, because there's a lot of funds. Like there is Start Viraha, there's a loan guarantee, there is Business Finland. All of these are, I mean, you might know it, but you don't know the proper process of accessing those grants and funds, right? And maybe you can shortly tell your experience working with a Finnish co-founder.
Yeah, when you plan that, okay, this is the right time for us to start Nordes, so we wanted to have a Finnish person in our team in order to help us with the registration, documentation works, and everything, because we had an idea, but we didn't know how to implement it. So we had a connection with Sami Hokkanen. So we had worked under him back in 2013. So we used to do some roof work, snow cleaning, and those things under him. So he was basically our boss at that point of time. So we had worked under him, and we know how good he was with his employees. So we wanted to bring him in our team in order to help us through different processes, be it with the Vero or be it with the banking, be it with the PRH registration things, and so on. So we approached to him, and he agreed happily to be part of Nordes. So he doesn't bring the technical know-how. He is a business guy. But what he brings to our team is he can take care of sales, he can take care of marketing, he can take care of social media things, he can take care of documentation things, billings, and so on. So even though he is not a technical guy, he could contribute to the team in his own ways. And most importantly, since he is a Finn, he had a good network. So let's say couple of years ago, we lost like 4 clients at once. Like in a span of 2 months, we lost 4 clients. So we were trying to reach out to different customers for work. It was not being a success. So we wanted to now implement our plan B. So right from the beginning, when we introduced Nordes, we wanted to enter either Nepal or India, because we were a resourcing company and we wanted to outsource mechanical engineering, mechanical design engineering works to either Nepal or India. We work for Nepal, but unfortunately, there are not good enough resources in Nepal for mechanical engineering. Of course, we can find for ITs and other sectors, we can find enough resources. But that was not the case for product design, mechanical design, and so on. So we decided, okay, let's go to India so that we can reach out to the customers in Finland, offering them more economical resources with same quality to Finnish customers. Maybe that way we can land some more projects to Nordes. But even to go to India, we needed fund, we needed capital. How do we go to India? We don't have enough customers, we don't have enough capital to go to India. So we were looking for different opportunities, and we came to know about Fin Partnership Program. I don't know how many of here knows about it, but it's an organization that provides you funding in order to go and explore the developing market. So when we are talking about Nepal and India, it falls under the developing market. So if you want to go to that market, Fin Partnership gives you certain funding. It can be up to 300 to 400,000 euros. So if you have an idea, and if you are a company in Finland and you want to do something in those developing countries, they will provide you the fund. So the thing was, we knew about this Fin partnership and we did the application, but we didn't know that if our application was good enough. So Sami Hokanen, he had a connections, he had a network in Finland, so he knew someone from the Finnish government who was working, checking this kind of funding applications back in his working days. He's retired, so he brought us together with that guy. He checked our application. He gave us a lot of comments. Okay, you need to correct this one. You need to rephrase these sentences and everything. So we followed his comments. We applied for the grant, and on our first attempt, we were successful. We received the whole funding in order to expand our business to India. And Fin Partnership themselves, they said that this was one of the best applications they ever received, because there was no any further comments for them to make. And it was possible because we had Sami, he had his connections, and that connection helped us. So in Finland, I think having a Fin in your team is very essential, if not for capital, for his connections that he has built throughout his career. So for us, it was really a plus point of having a Fin in our core team.
Thank you, Prakash. So we're out of time, and we could really get more insights from you guys. Maybe like last few words, like maybe there's like budding entrepreneurs that are thinking about their grand ideas, but they're there's they're not able to like um, let's say go forward. Like what's like two advice that you can provide?
I mean, first of all, what I said earlier, I really think Finland is the best place in the world. Those that have ended up here, you should not move anywhere else. Number one, I wanted to make it clear because, I have lived in other countries, do not get me wrong here, guys. I mean, I've lived in many countries. This is the best place to be, but you need to play with the system. Like Prakash said, you need to learn everything that is out there. And it could be that you need to have a Fin as a co-founder, but you can also research. You can do it yourself. I mean, there is this Business Finland. There is Startira, like Dai said, and a Fin partnership. And there are other tools as well that are available for everyone. But what I meant, when you are looking for serious capital, growth capital, that is going to be very difficult for you, and you need to prove it. Like Barun said, you're going to be going through multiple justification, verification, like again and again with these guys, and still they won't give it to you. But the system here works very well for us. I mean, I don't need to say that it's a great system for our kids to walk to school. We don't need to worry about safety. So we have landed up in an amazing place. But regarding building companies, so you have all these small grants available. So use that grant to get a prototype. Like I said earlier, it's very easy to test products in this market. And you could also test it back home in our country, Nepal, and maybe with India, booming market, maybe you have connections there. But then again, you need to think global. And for global, what I meant, you need to get outside of Finland. You need to build deep networks. So you need to maybe online, you join different forums, where they are talking about these, or you go to US, different conferences, go to Germany, India, all these places where things are happening. And then you build these network nodes and they are going to help you. That's what I believe in.
I kind of agree with what Bijay has said. So yeah, I think this is the best time to be builder in tech, especially if you're building a tech startup. This is the best time to be builder. I think you don't need that much of resources as you would need before. Like you would need a big team. Big team means maybe you need to raise bigger funding round right in the beginning. Seed rounds could be bigger ticket size, and then that's where you can start having frictions. But now to build things, you don't really need a big team. Now the challenge is accessibility to the market. And as Bijay said, for us, foreign immigrant entrepreneurs, the mindset has to be start local, think global, right from the beginning. And I think you should be ready to look for market elsewhere if it doesn't work in Finland. The domestic market is not treating you well. Yeah, there is always a challenge that you might be thinking maybe.
Where it doesn't work in Finland. It's domestic market.
Verification, eh?
So yeah, I mean, you can always look for market beyond Finland as well. So sometimes there is of course a challenge, but especially investors, they want to see you at least some sort of traction, see that you have some sort of traction in domestic market or in local market where your company is registered. So that might get you challenged on maybe even raising seed round. But I don't think that's in any way the case anymore, because you can always start, have the verification from somewhere else as well. But this is the builders market now. This is the builders time, and I think you need to build. You need to continuously build products, do proper, product market fit, and yeah, this is the best time to be founder. So I definitely want you guys to build more companies, and I think for Finland as well, if we see more success, more Nepalese entrepreneurs coming out, and more success stories from Nepalese community building companies here in Finland, I think that will kind of knock the ecosystem players to include more Nepalese, maybe for investors as well, like VCs and syndicates, to kind of look for, okay, maybe these Nepalese founders, they might have good companies, right? So that will also knock a bit on their doors as well. So yeah.
Yeah, shortly, I would just like to say that if any of you have certain ideas that you are working, don't be scared to share your ideas with your network, some entrepreneurs. Don't be scared that your ideas will be stolen. I believe that you will get certain inputs from whoever you share, like how to proceed next, what would be the next step. For example, I came across one Nepali brother, he had started his company, and he had also received his Startiraha, and it had been already 6 months, and he was scared, okay, now my Startiraha is going to end. I have not landed quite many projects. What am I going to do? He was really scared. So he came in touch with me. So I said that don't worry, you just need to apply for the extension of your Startiraha for another 6 months, and you need to include few points, and they will very easily grant you Startiraha for next 6 months, that you can still keep on working on your ideas. So he made an application, and his Startiraha was extended for another 6 months so that he could continue his work. So if you have any idea, reach out to your connections, share your ideas, so you will get input from them how to proceed, what could be the, because let's say Business Finland, they are conducting quite many training sessions every now and then to make your business plan and cost calculations and those on. So you can take those trainings. So if you connect with your network to get input, so you will get a lot of ideas from your network. So don't be scared to share your ideas. No one is going to steal it. So be open and share your ideas. That's all I will say.
Okay, big round of applause to our panel. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you guys.